Welcome back, art students. In today's lesson, we will create a sea turtle. Turtles and reptiles have existed for about 200 million years. There are 7 species of sea turtles and can be found in cool and warm waters and oceans all over the world. They nest their eggs in the sand of beaches and can lay up to 100 eggs. Each sea turtle species feeds on a specific diet and all lack teeth. Some only eat plants, while some eat lobsters, small fish, and jellyfish. Ready to begin? In this lesson, you will need watercolor paints and a brush, a cup for rinsing your brush, oil pastels or crayons, and a black Sharpie marker. Okay, let's get started. To start, have you noticed that my paper is horizontal? So make sure your paper is this way. We have been working before with our paper this way. So the paper on its side. And we are going to start by making our turtle's shell. You're going to find the middle of your paper, the bottom middle. And we're going to make a curved line up and right off the page. Okay, this line here. Middle, bottom, up, and off the page. Okay. Next, we will make our turtle's head. To find the top, we're going to make a straight line up and a short line, sort of a straight line that kind of curves off to the left. A small little rounded point there, and then we're going to bring our shape right back, our straight line right back to our turtle shell. Okay, let's make its front flipper. We have 2 front flippers. They're like the turtle's legs. They're flippers, so we're going to make a straight line close to its head, straight line up, and then we're going to make a straight line right off the page. Okay, to close this shape, we're going to make a curved line off the page. So touching the turtle shell, curved line right off the page. Okay, his other front flipper, 2 short lines, 1, 2. And then we're going to make this flipper rounded. Starting with the top line, rounded line right off the page. And the bottom, rounded line right off the page. Okay. Let's give our turtle an eye. So we're going to make an oval, right, sort of close to the front of its head. Not too big, not too small. And on the inside, we'll make a smaller oval and shade that oval in. Okay, now let's give our turtle some detail. We're going to make a second curved line right off the page. Here, this will be the outside of our turtle shell. Simply just following that first line that I made. Trying to stay close, but not too close because I'm leaving a little border. Okay, now I'd like for you to make a short line connecting the top and the bottom line. I'm going to make these sort of wide, not too close. They're wide. Top touching the bottom. Next, we're going to make the designs in our turtle shell. This is a little tricky. We're going to make lines that go right across the middle, and I think we'll do 3 to 4 depending on how much space you have. So find the middle of your shell, and we're going to make sort of a straight line that kind of goes up. 1, 2, 3. I really only have space for about 3, but maybe you have space for 4 or 5. Okay, so from here, maybe I can squeeze one here. Okay, so from here, you're going to touch the top line, and you're going to make, let's help ourselves out here, make maybe a point. That's right in the middle to the side. I'm going to connect the top line to that point, and then connect the bottom line to that point. Let's give ourselves another little helper. So here's the middle, just to the side. Top line. Now connect the bottom line. Now the other side. Our little helper dot. Okay, so from here, we're going to, do you see how there are points to our shape? We're going to find those points and simply draw a line from our center shapes to the outside of our turtle shell. Straight lines. All the way around. Okay, next we're going to give our turtle flippers some nice detail. It would almost look like a mosaic, I think, when we're finished. Okay, so we're going to make triangle shapes here. So starting with the top line, each of our flippers are going to look very much, just very different. So I'll explain, let's see. Top line, you're going to draw big triangles. And the bottom, big triangles. We're simply just going to close those triangle spaces. Close that. Here's one. Close that. And another one here. How many triangles can you see? And then just make some lines between those triangles. Good. Now we will make some big triangles on the other flipper. Top, now the bottom. Okay, now let's find some triangles to close. So here's 2 sides, 1. And then we'll make some lines in the center. Okay, that looks really nice. Now we'll give our turtle just a few on its head. Maybe just 2 on the top and maybe 3 on the bottom. We're going to leave a little space here for our turtle's neck. Go ahead and close those triangle shapes, and maybe connect them there. Okay, now we will use our oil pastels or our crayons. Now, I've used quite a bit of white pastel to really lighten up my sea turtle. It's kind of hard to see, so I will work pretty quick when I'm doing this, and you can pause the video if I go too fast for you. But I'm going to, all of my black lines, most of them, I'm going to trace with my white crayon. So we'll just do this step by step. I'm going to start by tracing right over my white lines of my turtle shell on the inside. Now, you can trace next to it or right over it. I'm going to go right over the top so you can see, but maybe your lines will just go right next to it. So I'm going to go right over all those lines. Now, I'm using an oil pastel. They are a little softer to use than crayon. If you are using crayon, you might need to press a little bit harder. Okay, now those spaces around our turtle shell, we're going to put a little dab of white right in the center. We're not going to trace the line, we're just going to add a little bit of white in the center. My coloring today is not going to be careful back and forth coloring. It's going to be sort of dark. I'm going to press down hard, and it's going to be kind of scratchy. Those lines will look really nice when we use our watercolor paints. You'll see some of the blue color come through. So I'm going around my shell on the edge of my turtle shell, and I've just put white on the center. Okay, let's take a break from our white now and trace our 2 outer lines of our turtle shell. I'm going to go right over that line. Now the top line. Okay, now find your yellow, and now I'm going to, just in the center of our shapes here, put a little splash of yellow. So just a little yellow. And I'm making my coloring sort of scratchy, short and scratchy. Okay, next I'm going to use an orange. And I'm going to get these colors pretty close to my yellow, and I'm going to do scratchy orange around my yellow. trying to stay right in that shape that I'm working on. If I get going too fast, I might go into another part of the turtle shell, and I don't want to do that. Okay, I have my yellow, my orange, and now my red. Find your red, and you're simply going to add red around your orange. Scratchy coloring. I'm not doing my best careful coloring. It's scratchy and I'm pressing down hard. Okay, our turtle shell looks complete and ready. It's going to be beautiful when we use our watercolor paint right over the top. It's a lot of coloring today, but it really will be worth it in the end. Okay, now we're going to fill in our shape of our flippers. Okay, I'm going to alternate between using a light green and a dark green. So I'm going to fill in, oh, actually we're going to trace those shapes as well. Go back and get your white. We're going to outline these shapes also using white. It's a nice little highlight right over my shape. All those lines. Okay, this flipper is finished. Let's do our other flipper. You might have more or a few less lines than I do. Okay, now we're ready to alternate our light green and dark green. And I'm simply just going to put a little patch of color. I'm going to do a pattern of light green, dark green, light green, dark green, light green, dark green, light green. Trying to get my colors to sort of my light and my dark green to not be right next to each other, but sometimes it happens. So it's not all dark green and then light green. It's nicely spread out. Okay, there's my front flipper. This one is finished. Now let's do our other one. Starting with my light green. Again, short, scratchy coloring. Okay. Now your white again. We're going to trace the shapes with our white crayon again. Going around our turtle head. And all those, that tiny detail on its head, we're going to trace with white. With my light green, I'm going to shade in my turtle's neck light green. And around my turtle's eye. And now, the rest of the shapes on my turtle's head will be dark green. All those little empty spaces, shade that in with dark green. You can even go around the eye. Okay. And one last detail on our turtle shell. We trace the inside line and the outside line, and now those little center lines, those short lines. Okay. Now it looks like we have done all of our lines, and now we're ready to shade in all of these white areas here. I'm choosing a turquoise looking blue watercolors to fill in all those white areas, and it'll make my water look sort of tropical. Wet my brush. Got a little paint left on my brush. I'm going to use blue, and I'm going to take my watercolor paint and just simply brush right over my turtle. You can see the white peeking through. It looks really nice. Like the light is catching the turtle swimming in the ocean. I'm going to make sure I don't leave any white dry spots. This light blue looks like tropical water. And if you wanted to make the water look deeper, you can choose darker colors. You could add some black. This is up to you if you wanted to change the color of your water. Blacks. You could add a little purple. On my first example, I just did blue. We're making this turtle look like it's diving deep into the ocean with all of its dark colors. Spreading out if I have any big puddles, pushing that water right over my paper. Okay. And remember, if you have too much in one spot, you can always take a paper towel and just lightly dab it off. But I think that looks really nice. And there you have your very own sea turtle. Thanks for painting with me. See you next time. Bye.